Okay, so you want to own an oil refinery, not a gas station, not a storage terminal, a billion-dollar machine that turns crude oil into the fuel that moves the world. Picture it. Every morning, thousands of barrels of crude oil arrive at your facility. Pipes start moving, towers start heating. Trucks and tankers line up to collect gasoline, diesel, jet fuel, and petrochemicals. And the money sounds ridiculous. A refinery processing 100,000 barrels of crude every day can move tens of millions of dollars worth of product through its gates every single day. At $80 a barrel, that is roughly $8 million of raw material entering the plant daily. Multiply that across 365 days, and you are looking at nearly $3 billion of annual throughput. So naturally, you might think the owner is printing money. Here's the problem. The refinery doesn't make money because it sells expensive gasoline. It makes money from the tiny difference between what it pays for crude and what it can sell the resulting products for. And that difference can disappear frighteningly fast. A refinery can spend millions of dollars every day just buying crude. Then add electricity, natural gas, chemicals, labor, transportation, maintenance, environmental compliance, insurance, financing, and unexpected shutdowns. One major outage can turn a profitable month into a disaster. And here's the part most people completely miss. You are not really buying a machine that makes gasoline. You are buying a gigantic industrial spread trading operation where billions of dollars flow through the pipes, while your actual profit may come down to a few dollars per barrel. That is the economics of owning a refinery. And the margin is where the real story begins. Now, here's where the mental model breaks down. Not every refinery is the same business. There are 4 categories, and the difference can be measured in billions. First, small or specialty refineries. These might process roughly 5,000 to 30,000 barrels per day. They can serve regional markets or specialize in asphalt, lubricants, or niche fuels. A facility can require $100 million to several $100 million. Then you move into the regional commercial refinery. One of them think 50,000 to 150,000 barrels per day. Now you are dealing with serious infrastructure, pipelines, storage, and multiple processing units. A new facility can easily push toward $1 billion or more. Third comes the large integrated refinery. These facilities can process 200,000 to 500,000 barrels per day. They may include catalytic crackers, hydrocrackers, reformers, and sulfur systems. At this scale, replacement value can reach several $billion. And then there is the monster, the mega refinery. Facilities processing 500,000 barrels per day or more operate like industrial cities. Saudi Arabia's giant refineries demonstrate the scale. Billions of dollars in infrastructure, huge storage capacity, dedicated ports, and thousands of workers. But here's the catch. Bigger does not automatically mean better. A 500,000 barrel refinery with weak margins can lose more money than a smaller refinery with better crude access and higher value products. Scale multiplies economics. It does not fix bad economics. Because every extra barrel also creates another dollar of exposure when the spread moves against you. Now comes the part that makes buying an oil refinery look less like buying a business and more like buying a small country. The first bill is construction. A brand new refinery can cost several $billion. A complex 200,000 barrel per day facility can easily require $10 billion or more once processing units, utilities, storage, pipelines, terminals, and infrastructure are included. And that is just getting the machine built. Then comes working capital. At 200,000 barrels per day and $70 crude, your refinery needs roughly $14 million of crude every single day. Hold a few weeks of inventory, and hundreds of millions of dollars can become trapped inside tanks and pipelines. Then the hidden costs start multiplying. A refinery needs specialized engineers, operators, maintenance crews, environmental specialists, laboratory staff, security, and emergency teams. It consumes enormous amounts of electricity, natural gas, water, hydrogen, and chemicals. It also has to meet increasingly expensive environmental requirements covering sulfur, emissions, wastewater, storage, and hazardous materials. And maintenance is not optional. Refineries periodically undergo massive shutdowns called turnarounds, where equipment is inspected, repaired, and rebuilt. A major turnaround can cost tens or even hundreds of millions of dollars. Then there is insurance, property tax, transportation, financing, safety systems, spare parts, and compliance. Read that again. Your refinery can be profitable while operating normally, yet still require enormous cash reserves simply to survive its maintenance calendar. Because in this business, the biggest expense is often not producing the next barrel. It is making sure the plant is capable of producing the next barrel. So where does the refinery actually make money? Not at the gas station, and not simply by buying crude cheap and selling gasoline expensive. The real engine is the refining margin, often called the crack spread. Think of one barrel of crude as a $70 box of ingredients. Your refinery takes that barrel and turns it into a basket of products: gasoline, diesel, jet fuel, fuel oil, and petrochemical feedstocks. If those products can collectively sell for $82, you have created roughly $12 of gross product value from that barrel. But that is not $12 of profit. You still have to subtract energy, labor, chemicals, transportation, maintenance, and other operating costs. Now scale that simple example. A refinery processing 200,000 barrels every day, with a $10 gross margin per barrel, generates about $2 million of gross margin every day. Run that for 330 operating days, and you are approaching $660 million. That is the hidden engine. But there is another lever: complexity. A sophisticated refinery can process cheaper, heavier, higher sulfur crude and convert more of it into valuable fuels. That flexibility can create a wider margin than a simple refinery gets. And this is where the owner's real advantage appears. You are not betting on one product. You are optimizing an entire barrel. Every fraction matters. A few extra dollars captured across hundreds of thousands of barrels can become hundreds of millions of dollars annually. But the opposite is equally brutal. Lose $3 per barrel, and a 200,000 barrel refinery can burn through $600,000 of margin every operating day. In refining, tiny spreads become enormous fortunes, or enormous losses. Now, here's where refinery ownership gets ugly. Refineries rarely fail because nobody wants gasoline. They fail because the economics stop covering the fixed costs. Imagine your refinery earns a $6 margin per barrel. At 200,000 barrels a day, that sounds like $1.2 million of gross margin daily. But if crude prices rise, product prices fall, or a major unit goes offline, that spread can collapse. Debt does not care. Interest still arrives. Payroll still arrives. Taxes still arrive. And the plant still needs maintenance. Philadelphia Energy Solutions is a perfect example. The Philadelphia refinery, one of the largest on the U.S. East Coast, struggled with weak refining economics, heavy debt, and competition from newer facilities. The company entered bankruptcy in 2018. Then, in June 2019, a massive explosion and fire tore through the complex. The refinery never restarted, and the assets were eventually sold for redevelopment. That is the nightmare scenario. A business can survive thin margins. It cannot easily survive thin margins plus billions in capital requirements plus a catastrophic shutdown. Then look at Hovensa's refinery in the U.S. Virgin Islands. The facility had enormous capacity, but weak economics and changing market conditions made the operation increasingly difficult to justify. It shut down refining operations in 2012. The lesson is brutally simple. Capacity is not profitability. A giant refinery can become a giant liability when its crude supply, product markets, debt structure, or operating costs stop working together. And once billions are buried in steel and concrete, you cannot simply pivot like a software company. You are locked into the economics of the machine. That is why refinery ownership is ultimately a battle against fixed costs, volatility, and time. So, is owning an oil refinery a good investment? The answer depends on one number: the margin you can consistently capture per barrel. Take a 200,000 barrel per day refinery. In an optimistic environment, suppose it captures a $12 gross refining margin per barrel and operates 330 days a year. That creates roughly $792 million in annual gross margin. After energy, labor, maintenance, logistics, insurance, compliance, overhead, and other operating expenses, perhaps $400 million to $500 million remains before financing and taxes. On a multi-billion-dollar asset, that can produce an attractive operating return. But now use a more realistic scenario. Suppose the average margin falls to $6 per barrel. The same refinery generates only about $396 million of annual gross margin. After operating expenses, debt service, and periodic maintenance, the owner's actual free cash flow could shrink dramatically. And during a weak refining cycle, returns can approach zero or turn negative. That is the paradox. A refinery can process billions of dollars of product and still produce disappointing returns for its owner. The revenue is enormous. The capital is enormous. The risks are enormous. But the final margin can be surprisingly thin. So remember the rule. You are not buying gasoline. You are buying exposure to the spread between crude and refined products. You are buying billions of dollars of inventory, machinery, debt, regulation, maintenance, and commodity volatility. And every day the refinery stops running, the economics keep running against you. Because in this business, the goal is not to make the most money per barrel. It is to capture a small margin on an enormous number of barrels for as many years as possible. The refinery is not a money printer. It is a machine that prints money only when the spread lets it.